We've got some chairs to fill, some great folks to talk with you tonight. Mr. Mykelti Williamson. Welcome. Where would you like me? Right here. Your spot. Welcome. Jovan Adepo. Mr. Stephen McKinley Henderson. All right. Ms. Costanza Romero Wilson. Viola Davis. Denzel Washington.
Supposed to stand up a bit. I forgot my belt tonight, so. Hey, shut up. Who's talking about? All right.
Congratulations, everybody, first of all. Congratulations. Denzel, I'm going to start with you. And in the spirit of the film, I'm going to pitch a softball, sort of a little bit on the inside, just to get the conversation started. So this is going to be an easy one. I'm going to ask a few questions, and then I want to get to folks here in the audience. Tell us something about Troy Maxson, why he's important to you, and I wonder if you can remember the first time you met him, as it were.
Well, I guess the first time I met him was in 1980 some odd when I saw James Earl Jones and Courtney Vance and the great Mary Alice in that production.
What did he say to you? What did that?
He didn't say nothing to me. You know, it doesn't happen like that, or
right.
for me,
Fair
where
enough.
somebody's
Fair enough.
role speaks. You know, I don't know what that means.
Was there something about that character, about that?
It's a great play.
Yeah.
And yeah.
So August Wilson.
Yeah, it's a great play, and Costanza can tell you. I was fortunate to spend a day back in, I think it was 2005 with August, and it was just one of the best days of my life to just sit with him and listen to him and his talking about his process and what he does.
Was there something about as you got further along, and ultimately older? Well, maybe that's a way into it. Maybe that's a way into talking about. Did you find yourself? Were there ways that you found yourself relating to this character? In what ways did you find yourself relating to this character as you matured and as you ultimately decided to tackle not only acting but directing this story?
When Scott Rudin brought me the screenplay 7 years ago, again, going back to the 80s, I thought I was too young for the part. And then I read it, and it said, it's 53, and I was 55. I was like, wait, I better hurry up, or I'll be too old for the part. Yeah, so I called Scott up. I said, I want to do the play before I get too old. He said, you want to do the play? I said, yeah. He said, all right, I'll call you on Monday. Let me raise the money, and here we are.
And I'll call you on Monday. Yeah. Well, let me ask Viola Davis a version of the same question. The two of you performed these roles. So as Denzel mentioned, the play comes from '83. It's part of a cycle of plays by August Wilson. It came to Broadway in, if I'm not mistaken, '87.
When was it first done, Costanza?
It was done in '86.
86. So 86, Broadway '87, and then revived in 2010. The two of you played these roles. What can you tell us about this character of Rose, your relationship with her? What did she say to you, so to speak? What drew you to her? What draws you back to her?
Besides the fact that it's a great role, it could not be any more perfectly written. I think the best part of Rose is that when she's introduced in the play, she's in the background. She really is. I mean, she's cooking. She's sitting. I mean, it's not that she's not enjoying the banter, but you kind of feel like this is how it's going to be. It's Troy's story. And then when she steps forward and when she's betrayed, then you hear her voice. And I think that's really nice. You don't get that often. You know, a lot of times women in the background, they stay in the background. But when she really taps into her voice, she really taps into it. I like that about her.
I want to switch gears, and I want to bring in Stephen McKinley Henderson. I want to bring in Costanza Romero Wilson, because I want to talk a little bit more about August Wilson. So maybe one of the two of you could tell us something about August Wilson, the person, the writer, something that relates to this specific play. I mean, Stephen, you've performed in a number of roles in his work.
Well, you know, I can talk about the writer, definitely. I was always in awe around him, and I was always welcome. He welcomed me into his company. I just was always still in awe. And it took me quite a while to just be hanging out with August Wilson, you know what I'm saying? It took a minute. Because he was just so wonderful. And he would try out ideas. He'd bring up something. He'd engage you. And then he was sneaking up on you with something monumental. One of my favorite times is I said something. I always loved when I could say something to him that he delighted in, you know? And because he delighted in listening to stories. That's why he could write such great stories, because he listened so well. And he'd sit around, he'd be listening to people. And I told him I heard these brothers coming down the street uptown, and I was a little nervous because they were arguing. It sounded like they were really talking loud, and the dude was saying, no, man, the blues don't come from being black. The blues come from being black in America. Say, you was black before you came here. You didn't get the blues till you came here. And August he said, I like that, man, I dig that, you know. And so that was one of the things that I love as a writer, because he appreciated so many, and he appreciated other writers. You know, he would tell you in a minute that Amiri Baraka was an inspiration to him, and that, you know, that he found things that he talked about, a field of manners. When he talked about James Baldwin, talking about that we have a field of manners and a way of behaving. And he just rejoiced in other people and listened so well. So that's what I most was in awe of about him, that he had so much that was inside him, and he got it because he listened to his parents, to his ancestors, to the people in the street, you know. He listened, and then he elevated it and exalted it. And did something with the language that you have to just witness. You know, no words to talk about that. You don't have to talk about that. Just read it. It's right there.
Yeah. Thank you. Constanza, I'd love for you to pick up on some of that and tell us a bit more about the man that you knew, and how you maybe help us understand his relationship to this specific play, as you might have talked with him about it in his life.
Sure. You didn't see me in the movie because I'm August Wilson's wife. Let me introduce myself. August was a very principled man. He lived by a saying that his mother always repeated to him, which is, something is not always better than nothing. And he would rather have nothing than compromise certain things about himself and certain things about, you know, Black America. And I think that him being such a principled man, he taught me so much in our time together. He put that kind of sentiment and warrior spirit, I think, into his characters, such as Troy Maxson. And also the storytelling tradition, the fact that, you know, while he was growing up, people were playing the stoops, you know, people sold fish sandwiches, people were, playing baseball on the street, and he loved to tell the story of a community, you know, and what made that community strong and resilient, and he had so much passion for everything that had to do with the Black experience. And in getting to all of those specifics, as you all know, that's how you get to the universal. And he wrote seamlessly. We would be sitting at a cafe, and he'd be saying, well, this happened to this character, and this happened to that other character in a play he's writing, and I'm saying, really? You know, it's like as though they were all real people, because they were real to him. And so to live was to write, and to write was to live for him. And that's basically like Troy and his bat, basically. Yeah.
Thank you. Well, let me ask Mykelti Williamson about Gabriel Maxson. And I wonder if you remember the first conversation you had with Denzel Washington about that character, about this role. Can you remember an early conversation the two of you had about being in this, performing this role, being in this movie?
Well, not exactly, no. But I remember wanting this so badly, feeling privileged that I was going to get to go and do it. And even though I was cast, I was so disappointed in myself, I didn't realize that they'd like me. And I told that story before. A couple of days I spent in the bed, found out they liked me. I was so happy, man. Because as an actor and as a human being and as a Black man in America, Denzel has always made us proud, always. And those who have fallen by the wayside took the route of jealousy when they saw this man's excellence. But he instilled fear in all of us. I got to give it up. I'm serious.
Is that
but
true?
The kind of fear that he instilled in me was, I got to figure something else. I got to figure out another route, because you knew he had that one covered. So I went the character route and learned how to make that as excellent as I could. But I looked up to him, found that a great privilege, and then to be included now again I have no words. Thank you, Denzel.
Jovan, was there fear? Was there fear instilled in you?
A little bit.
Be honest.
I think a lot of the fear came from my own imagination. I mean, when I found out that I got this part, I was really excited that I had the opportunity to work with one of my heroes and with a full cast of veterans who I knew were just going to be people that I'd be able to learn something from. So I think that the fear really came from just me. I think especially when we started in rehearsals, I was paying more attention to trying to make sure I was doing the right thing in rehearsals, making sure I was trying to please the director versus being in the moment and really paying attention and listening to my scene partners. And I think that's something that I had to work on, and I got better at. I feel like I got better at it as we kept working through it. So the fear naturally went away when I was able to just let go and trust that the preparation was there and I can go out and just play.
Denzel, people are talking about wanting to please you as the director. You've been an actor on the other side of things, I assume trying to please a director or trying to navigate a relationship with the director. But in this role as a director of this piece, who are you trying to please? Are you trying to please yourself, the page, because it's this August Wilson play that you know so well? Or is there something else that's driving you through this process?
Please God first. Be pleasing.
Yeah.
You're just trying to, I'm an ordinary man with an extraordinary job.
Right.
Not the other way around. So it's all gravy for me. You know, when I was younger, I used to coach a lot. And nothing you coach kids in sports. Nothing made me happier than seeing other people do well. Well, that's sort of my nature, and directing was the perfect job for that, because I love seeing others do well. I mean, I'm okay. I did pretty good. I'm good. I've done all right. But to see others do what, you know, what they're capable of gives me great joy.
Yeah. We're going to take some questions from the audience in a moment, and I'm going to throw out a question to anyone on this panel. I was thinking as I was watching this movie, why this play now? What is it about this story right now? How do you relate to this play, this story, its themes, its ideas in this moment we're living right now in 2016?
Costanza?
Well, if August were sitting right here, he'd say, "What took you so long?" But I think to exalt and to really pay homage to Black culture, and to also give air, you know, to all the people of what August said, and the way that he wrote, and to have many more ears listen to his poetry. I think that it is time, especially, you know, thank God I'm in a blue state, so I'm going to say after the election. And I think that just August spoke for the Black experience, and we need to have more voice for the Black experience, especially in it's all its humanity and it's all its wonder, and you know, good and bad, and Denzel, I just have to say, you did it so beautifully.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And you know, the universal stems from the specific. Yeah. It's specifically about this African American family, but the themes are universal. You know, betrayal, love, all of those. You pick a color. Right. Got a few witnesses in here, right? You got one back. Yeah. So you know, those themes, the things he touched on. Yeah. You know, he wrote a masterpiece. You know, listen, Eugene O'Neill, Tennessee Williams, Arthur Miller, Edward Albee, August Wilson, and Neil Simon. I mean, come on. Yeah. He's one of the greatest writers in American history, in world history, playwrights ever. Yeah. So, and this is one of his greatest plays. So this is just really a privilege and an honor to be a part of it. You know, I'm still waiting to be awakened and realize I'm still working at the post office or something. It's a dream come true.
Let me find out what the audience wants to ask you. There's a microphone, and the gentleman right here in front of you, will start there, and then we'll work our way.
Thank you. Congratulations, everybody. It's awesome movie. For Viola and Denzel, what was it like to go back, having done these roles for so many months on stage, to make a film with them? And Denzel, directing yourself, did you stay in character the way I heard Warren Beatty did when he was playing Howard Hughes? He'd direct as Howard Hughes when he was in a scene. And, you know, do you have any other August Wilson plays you'd like to do?
What was the first one? What was the first? That was a long question. What was the first one?
The first one was about returning to the roles for the two of you.
Rose? I mean, Viola.
It's really funny because I always have something to say, and for some reason with this piece I have nothing to say, which is interesting. I don't know. A therapist could maybe evaluate that, but I just didn't want to do it by rote. You know, I felt like I already knew it, and I felt like that was a trap. So there were times I would keep repeating a line, and I would emphasize different words just to wake me up. And then it was a chance and an opportunity to fix some things that I never got right on stage, and that was the last piece with Corey. Never got it on stage. I mean, literally, there was one day for hours we went through the scene over and over and over again. I said, at some point, I'm gonna get it. I went to Juilliard. I'm gonna get it. Never got it. Until I did the movie.
What did you feel like you weren't getting right? What was it about the...
You know when you're not getting it right. You know that when you're coasting, every time I would get to that scene, every single night, I would want it to be over. That was my internal monologue. Wow. I can admit that now because it's over. I would never have said that then. But I just, let it be over. Let it just be over because nothing is happening. And I think, to be honest with you, one of the reasons why I didn't get it is because I said, okay, she did all of this because she wanted this baby? Really? She didn't want like a great job at a bank? And then I became a mother after that. And then everything changed. My heart changed, your whole being changes, and then all of a sudden I got it. That the whole moment, like Denzel said, this is not a monologue, Viola. You're doing this for him. That the whole speech was about, as parents, we're just doing the best we can with what we're given. I didn't get that. And I thought I was a deep person then, but I guess I wasn't. So for me, you know what the whole play is for me, and it's probably one of August's biggest gifts, is it becomes a spiritual journey even for the actor. That you have to go to places that are not just about doing your objectives and your tactics and all this acting stuff. It's about going someplace much deeper and being naked in a way that you oftentimes are not when you're acting. Real deep place. And that's what the film afforded me, if that answers the question.
And and the film is right here. Yeah. So we don't have to reach back there now with you because the camera's right here. And if the two of us are talking, the camera's right here. Now you can, you don't have to. It's actually more naturalistic, within the scene. You don't get to have the life of the play, obviously, in one day on film, but within that each scene, it's more naturalistic acting than on the stage, especially on a Broadway stage.
And directing yourself?
4 takes, let's move on. For me, again, like I said, I get a lot of pleasure out of seeing others do what they do, so I would always shoot everybody else first. If we were doing a scene together, I'd get her performance, and we'd come around, 4 takes, and we'd move on. And, I just didn't worry about that. I just didn't worry about it.
As a follow-up to something you were just saying, Denzel, you talked about the camera moving in to a performer. With the way you've designed this world with your team, you're also opening up this world from the world that people might have seen on stage. Tell us about that. Tell us about that balance.
August wrote a masterpiece, so you had to be real delicate. I had to be real delicate about what we might change, if anything. I mean, we added maybe 22 words. The commissioner will see you now, and whatever else we might have ad-libbed. But where things take place, because now we're not going to just present it in the back of the yard. Where else could this take place? So we do have the kitchen, we do have upstairs, we do have the front room. Was a big thing for me was the decision to have Rose come to his job. That's a major shift from the play. I mean, we didn't have the luxury of that in the play, but he walks out that door and that speaks about, you can just then scene. You can stop right there and go, and what would you do? Would you, A, go back inside and act like she, and I asked Viola, would you go inside while he's working, or would you wait outside? That was, it was a delicate change. And also having Bono, well, Bono still comes to see his friend, whether he comes to see him on the porch at the house or he comes to see him at the bar the way he does. He's still his friend that loves him, and he's worried about him, and he comes to see him. So in a way that, I don't want to say it elevated, but he actually, we threw, that was the other ad lib. He said, I came by the house, you wasn't there. Yeah, so that was the other line we added. So it put more pressure on that character.
It was so great. First of all, every location we went to in Pittsburgh, it was so special, and the people were so glad that we were there. And it wasn't just because it was Denzel Washington and Viola Davis. It was because we were doing August Wilson in Pittsburgh, and that was just incredible, and it added so much. But also, as you say, the places that you did pick, man, to put places. It hit me when we were in the bar that all the times we had been together before that, we had one bottle that we shared, one bottle, and we'd pour some for the guys upstate and all that. And then we're in this place where it's all this liquor. The bar was liquor everywhere, and Bono said, "No, I don't want to drink." And it didn't even occur to me until we were there that juxtaposition of having all the liquor we would want to drink, and we weren't sharing anymore, But there were things like that that the serendipity of it, I don't know, the grace, all of that. We knew that it was mission-oriented work, and I got to say, Denzel get a little bit embarrassed, but I mean, he is just one of the most beautiful human beings. I got to tell you this. I had a hip replacement a few months before we were going to shoot this, and he was shooting Magnificent Seven, and he called me and he said, "Man, you laying there worried about if you can do this, right? And you remember this, man? You said you worried about getting up and down on that garbage truck." I said, "Yeah, man, I am. I'm concerned. You worry about if we can dump that garbage and walk that hill and this and that." He said, "Man, it's a movie, man. I take care of that." It's a movie, man. Now, of course, that made me want to go into my rehab every day. I was doing my stuff. I'm going to do it. I'm going to show him I can do it. And I got there, and I got to ride in the truck with him when he was learning to drive the truck, just driving all around this big yard, man. And it was like being a kid again, but you had grown-up toys, and then I was able to do it. I was so proud. I was able to get up on the truck, ride the truck, down the hill, get off, go dump the stuff in there. He ain't shoot none of that.
No!
He used none of it.
I'll send you the footage. I got the footage. I'll cut something together for you.
Okay.
All right, let's take a couple more. Okay, can we go over here to the center right here? Do you mind? Let's wait for the mic so we can hear your question. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Pamela. I'm an actor. I haven't had a desire to make a film. However, tonight, Mr. Washington, you showed me something with your filmmaking that I've never seen before. I don't know if it was the glass of wine I had earlier, but when the first Friday in the backyard, it set the precedent for the film. Just everything was so seamless to me. I was like, okay, how many cameras is he using? They're talking mid-sentence, but then it changed angles, and I don't know. I was just really mind blown. I don't know. It was just.
Sound like more like a director.
But
about
it's
the
you.
camera angles and stuff. No, I'm just saying the way you see things.
You helped me see this. And there was something else I wanted to say.
That's that wine. Don't worry, that wine is winning. But go on, somebody else ask a question while she's thinking.
It was just beautiful. It really was just beautiful filmmaking, and thank you. And how did you just use one camera? I mean, I really was like.
No, we use as many as they let us have.
I heard you say 4 takes, but it was just, it was beautiful. It was really, really beautiful.
Go right down the row, a few people to this gentleman right here. Thank you. Hi.
What I would like to know is how in the name of God is Mr. Henderson a black man? Because I can't believe that. Oh, wow. He really, really, really looks more like a white person.
Well, now, where are you from?
I'm from the Dominican Republic.
You from where?
Dominican Republic.
Oh, okay. Oh, so you know about slavery and what
I
happened.
do. That's why I asked.
All right. You know the other side is Haiti, right? All right. Okay. Go ahead.
Can we go back a ways? We'll go there, and then we'll go up here as well.
Congratulations to all of you. It's beautiful performances. How long did you have to rehearse, and how long did you have to shoot? Just curiosity.
We rehearsed 2 weeks. 2 weeks for the film.
Right.
1, 2, 3, 4 of us. 5, including Russell, were in the play. But we sort of tried to stand it up on its feet, and we took a big room and taped out every room in the house and just walked it like a play. Tried to stand it up like a play.
Mm-hmm. And shooting?
Shooting, what was it, 38 days.
30, wow.
Todd, 38 days? 39.
Oh.
Well, congratulations.
Spoken like a producer, our producer, Todd Black, back there. Don't get shy now, Todd.
There's a gentleman here. There we go, standing up. Wait for the mic. Thank you very much. There we go.
Hello, everyone. It's really great to see this brought to film because not everybody can get to go see a Broadway play, and I was lucky to be able to, and I've seen a few of August Wilson's plays. But it's done so well in film, and I think his writing somehow really comes off really well in film. And so, and maybe this is for Costanza, any possible plans to bring 1 or 2 more to film?
I certainly hope so, and I hope that I can do it with Denzel.
Yeah, we made a yeah. Ma Rainey has already got the first pass, and it's I made a deal with HBO, so that, you know, one at a time. One at a time.
We're running out of time. I think we can get one more question in. Let's go right here. Hi.
I just have one question about the play, and I wanted to find out if it was autobiographical in any way for August Wilson, if it was talking about his father or himself, or...
You know, a lot of people ask that question,
Yeah.
and I think that August, even though he, you know, this is not completely autobiographical, there was a man who was down the street who was he was a fighter, and his name was Charlie Burley. Oh. And he refused to throw a fight, and he could have gone a long ways in his fighting career, but he refused to lose a fight, and then he lived the rest of his life in the Hill District, and he collected garbage. So I think that Troy Maxson, you know, Charlie Burley is a departure for Troy Maxson, and, you know, a strong African-American woman. I'm sure, you know, August took a lot of things from his mom for Rose. But I think that, you know, with as many plays as August left behind, you know, 10, which are called the American Century Cycle, I think that we really have to give him credit for being an amazing craftsman of characters and of situations, of plot, of different worlds that all have to do, they're all so human, and they're all having to do with he didn't write plays about Martin Luther King. He wrote plays about the people who were living in the Hill District whose lives seemed inconsequential, but he made them be of such consequence. So I just think he's an amazing craftsperson. Sure, there were moments and gateways of departures for him, but I think that he really was an amazing inventor, and he took it from the soil. The soil is fertile. Yeah.
If you don't mind, let's
Yes.
speak to that and speak to the gentleman. One of the things that August loved about Amiri Baraka was during the Black Arts Movement. August always said he was fired in the kiln of the Black Arts Movement. And in the Black Arts Movement, I can recall the first time I was liberated consciously was Amiri said, "You're black by color, consciousness, and commitment. And if you don't have the consciousness and the commitment, the color don't mean nothing." And so for a lot of red bones and yellow niggas and for a whole lot, for whatever, to speak to that and to rejoice.
Preach, brother.
To rejoice in what August did, to make sure to understand that, the hands that raised you, that changed your diapers and everything, that really has a lot to do with your consciousness and your commitment. Yes. So I just wanted to speak to that.
I want to say a couple things. I want to thank everyone at Paramount and everyone involved with this film for sharing it with us here this evening. In a moment, we're going to give them an applause, but I want to say two things. After this conversation ends in a moment, we're going to head into the lobby, into the gallery next door, and have a little reception. If you'll stay in your seats while our guests leave, get them out there, that'll be great. And then I want to ask something that you guys didn't ask me to do, but I want to ask that we're going to go and we're going to have a continued conversation about this movie. I would recommend the way we're going to do that well is if we put our cell phones in our pockets and put aside the selfies and the photos, and let's extend a hand and shake a hand and have a conversation. I think it'll be an even better reception together. So let's let them get out into the lobby. Let's give them one more applause for joining us, and thank them.